consciously eating.
All right. Good morning, or evening, or afternoon, or just good day, wherever you are, and whatever time it is for you right now. Today, I will give you a little rundown of the new map I created, which is also being included in the Pro League. So the name is Greydust, and to give a little overview, we take a look at the map in the editor. So first things first, you have a very great main base, which makes great for defending versus air, for example, or in general, you don't have to build too much stuff down here. And if you have a good SimCity, you can actually build a little labyrinth for units to come in or out. But at the same time, yeah, you have an easier time defending your workers, for example, because there's so much space for your archers, for example, or your ballista to be dropped and chase around all dragons or gyros coming in and out, or even cutter drops. It just makes it a lot easier to defend these kind of things. Next point is that we have two entryways into your main, meaning you have to choose where to put your buildings in the beginning. It's very crucial, I think, to block off this one if you don't want to engage early in combat. So you can do that by blocking it simply with Rex and a house. Either combination works. It just needs to be this 3x3 building. You can put two houses there as well, this is no problem. And the raiders will not be able to jump in or out something. So you block this entirely, meaning people will go or will have to go down here to enter your base, making the way very long for people to get into your base. So you shut down everything which is like proxy, aggressive, something like that. You shut that down when your opponent is doing that kind of thing. If you open with workshops, I know there are people doing that. You want to place your buildings a bit differently. So first things first, this house goes here. And the next thing is your workshop goes here. And then the raider will not be able to jump in. That's the setup you do. All right, so we covered the opening area. Next thing, we cover the first, like the natural, which is very obviously the natural, because every other natural would be very far away, right? So this is usually the second base you take, meaning that this is usually the third base you take. But mind you that even though you have like a very little choke, which you can clock up just as easy as you clock up your entryway into your main, you don't have anything else down here. Anything else you have is on the opposite side of your map, meaning you you have to decide if you go for these two bases. Later on, it's very hard to get to these bases in the top area. You can, however, choose to get this as your natural, or get this as your natural to surprise your opponent. So your opponent comes here, doesn't see anything, all right, so he has to check this one. The map is not that little, not that small, so it will take some time to figure out that your natural is here. So you have to choose in the beginning what your path of expanding looks like, because if you expand here, you will have a harder time holding these bases because the way between these bases is very long. But at the same time, if you can establish these two bases without much problems, you can take this one easier, and you will have an easier time going for 4 or 5 or 6 bases. And yeah, that's usually what you have to decide on. Although these are easier to take and hold in the beginning, later on it will be very hard to expand upwards. All right, next thing, we have this middle area. These castles have a lot of HP and take a long ass time to take them down. But if you manage to take them down, you can actually put a castle in the middle of these two mines, and you can actually mine with one castle from two bases, which is a huge thing, and you have to keep that in mind. You don't want to either let your opponent take this, or you want to take it for yourself. I think, for me personally, from the games I played on this map, I think expanding down here, yeah, the safer route, so to say, and then trying to get this base up, or at the same time try to establish a base here or here, is the right call. You can, however, I think Dragon Archer Z did that versus me. You can, however, send very early on an airship into here and establish it with towers and just fortify this base and have like the two middle mines very, very safely taken. Also working. Yeah, that's I think everything from my side about the overview in general. So let's talk about openings and where you put the buildings. So if we talk, yeah, we just assume you don't like to cheese or you don't play cheese in general. So what I showed earlier was, I think, what I would do every time I play Rex. So if you open with Rex, you put your buildings here, and then you, yeah, you just have the rally point down here. And then your units spawn here, and you can send them over, and yeah, they will jump right over. Keep in mind though, if your opponent blocks this way off as well, your units need to go from here, down here, and yeah, down here, and then the way, yeah, the route to your opponent's base or natural is super duper long. So if you open Rex, I think blocking this would be the right thing to do, but yeah, it can be tricky doing that with radar opening. So think about that. If you open archers, however, you can just do that and just keep the archers in here and just get your second base down here. Keep in mind though, the opponent will come from here, so you have to position your archers here and build more houses here, and you have to decide if you want to block off this way, because usually on Ravaged, for example, you have this castle, right? So you have the castle here, and then you kind of build a little wall, so your workers yeah, your workers are a gate, so to say. That's not working here on this map, at least not with this natural here. Meaning that even if you expand down here, I mean, you can put the castle here, I think, but with the natural you cannot really, like, there's no chance to get a nice wall here. So you want to wall this one if you can and put your archers there. I think that's what I would do if you play archers. Just block this one off, and yeah, that's it. However, if you like not block this one, you will have an easier time walling here, because you can just put the castle here or on this side, and then you have the gate already. Or you can put it here and just put the gate, put the house here, and then like it's a bit more secure. If you have the tower here or the archers here, it's gonna work as well. But in general, it's always a risk reward thing, taking the upper things, the upper mines. Alright, so that's the Rex openings. If you open with dens, I think the best way to make sure that you don't have to face too many shenanigans is just putting the dens here. Like either here or here. Maybe one den here with a house, and the second den you put them here, and you just produce stuff. So one wolf production goes here, and the other wolf production comes out here, and either goes here in here. If there's if it's not blocked, they can enter here. If it's blocked, they will just go through here and join your other wolves. So that's the 2 den build. Yeah, and every 1 den expansion build, I mean, of course you can do that, but it's so bad I don't think anyone will try that. Yeah, I think the 1 den expansion build doesn't really work here. Yeah, and with the workshop opening, I showed that earlier. If you open this with this, you can park one Gatling gun here, and there will be no way for the opponent to enter your base. Like if you put it here like this and just hold position, there's nothing entering your base, and you can take this base down here without any problems usually. I mean, of course, if there are units coming in, it's not gonna be great to deal with, but then again, I mean, you should have no problem because it takes so long for them to run around. Like if they are blocked here, they have to run around all this way, and to get to here, you already have like enough Gatling guns to deal with raiders or wolves or whatever is coming there. Maybe it's tricky or different when it's 2 Rex, but yeah. And yeah, usually if you want to cheese, I think like there's there's it's not a great idea to build anything proxy stuff here. Like if you rely, you cannot rely on the fact that this is not blocked. So if you try to cheese, you have to go here. But cheesing here, I mean, makes it very, very easy for the opponent to scout it, right? So when you send your worker over to proxy anything here, it's gonna be hard. So you have to proxy here. That makes the way your units have to take, or the time the units take to reach your opponent's base, very very hard. So if players are keeping you honest by sending workers over or just scouting this location, they are pretty safe, and you really have to put in some work to make your cheese work. So yeah, that's the things I wanted to cover, like a little overview. Let's talk about some key points which you have to know. First things first, we have radar spots. Obviously, they with 2 entryways, it should not be too hard to get into with your radars, but getting out is oftentimes tricky, right? So let's say your worker is low and you have to get out there quickly. You have one single spot where it works, and that's here. So you take your radar, you walk up to the edge, and then you can flash out. Only flash out, you need vision to flash in again at this point. And that's why expect there to be a house, right? That's just how it is. Another point of, or another key part when you play raiders, there are ways to get away from wolves if they chase you. For example, here you can just blink across and the wolves will have to run around. Obviously, the other player can just send some wolves here, no problem. That's expected. But in general, this is a very important spot, especially if you have like bases here and you harass them with your radar. It makes sense to just jump out here and not walk down here. Blinking in would be also working here, right? You see that there's also the only space or only place you can catapult from. So you put your catapults up there, up here. It's not enough space for 2 right here, but here should be fine. And then you can just fire down on the workers here. I think in general catadrops are not as strong on this map if the player knows what he's doing, or air in general is not that great. And yeah, with the I mean, it's pretty open down up here. It's pretty open. So if you play Beast, I think it's advised to take these bases and just play on the upper part of the map. If you play Rex, I think it's advised to play the lower parts of the map, because it's just easier to fight in these little chokes, and just abuse these kind of positions, or this high ground here, and then you just tower your way into this one, and either the opponent has bases here and you fight for them. Like this one, this space is a bit more open, but you can always retreat, right? So yeah, I think Rex play will go down, and yeah, Beast play will go up here where it's a bit more open. And yeah, obviously raiders can jump in here as well. So make sure that if you take this secret base that you put a tower down ASAP, or you have units there to be able to deal with raiders who are jumping in and out. And yeah, I think that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you have fun playing the map, and I hope you find some strategies and things you can do on this map I have not thought of. And yeah, good luck, have fun in your games.